How we doing today, traders? It is March 1st, 2024. It is 11:07 a.m. and it is the professional trader here. Today's Friday, so today's just going to be me taking a look at some of the news that came out today and just giving my personal opinion on the numbers and kind of just doing a brief technical analysis on the markets. So go ahead and get right on to it. Before we take a look at the markets, we could kind of take a look at how some of the news came out. We had some numbers that came out today, ISM Manufacturing and revised consumer sentiment, and we see that both were cooler than expected. Both came out less than the anticipated number, and we saw that the same thing happened for unemployment claims on the DXY. What was forecasted was 209, and what came out was 215. So, two things I want to talk about, just because I didn't make a video yesterday. Um, we saw, let's see, yesterday if I could find it. Let's see, Monday, Wednesday. So we saw somewhere around here, excuse me, somewhere around here, you know, was, yesterday in the market, and we saw that we had core PCE come out as expected, but we had unemployment claims come out cooler than expected. So that really didn't affect the market too much. We actually ended up pushing higher as the day went on. Kind of what we had been seeing, kind of a little bit last week and most of this week, right? We saw that the numbers have been cooler than expected for the DXY, but price action really hasn't been, following that trend just because it's expected for rate cuts to be, cut later in the year. So, these numbers that are cooler than expected, really haven't been moving, the market in one way. But, we still haven't been trending in a direction. So just, really consolidation at the end of the day. But today, we saw that both numbers actually came out cooler than expected, not by an absurd number, but still cooler than expected, right? And we saw that we couldn't, break out of this 4 hour consolidation today. We attempted once over here, we failed. Looked like we could have broke out. This was yesterday, right? Big impulse candle to the upside, but we just couldn't get that follow through. And even today, looking at the DXY, you know, we initially had I'll go on the 1 hour chart. Oh, that's the 1 minute. 60, right? Even slightly closed above, looked like we were finally going to break out, but then, immediately, pushed to the downside. And once these numbers came out, and I saw that the numbers were cooler than expected. I really just wasn't personally, I wasn't getting what I wanted from the DXY this week, which were hotter than expected numbers, which if would have came out, the DXY probably and most likely would have went on a bullish run again. But we just did not see those numbers come out hotter than expected. So I was in some trades USDCAD. I ended up closing out for a nice profit. I ended up closing out, pretty much at the highs. So got out at a good time. I'll go more into detail about that on my FTMO update tomorrow. But see that we got out of USDCAD. Was looking for the push up, to this previous resistance level right here. But we see that we failed once, failed twice, and then ended up failing ultimately for a third time. But I still was able to cash a nice amount of profit from, from here to, somewhere like uh somewhere like right over there. So however many pips that was, before price ended up reversing. Another trade that I ended up closing out on, right as price ended up reversing was GBPUSD. We've just kind of been struggling to continue the trend ever since, impulsing to the get back on the 4 hour. Ever since we impulsed to the downside over here, we retested the 618, tried to go back down, retested again. But we haven't been pushing higher, but we still haven't seen that trend continue, right? But I don't think it's over with for GBPUSD just because, we saw we failed here, failed, was putting in those lower highs, put in another lower high, even right here. And technically, this is still a lower high right here, but just with the way the numbers came out, for the DXY, I ended up closing this trade somewhere right around these lows right here. So, got out at a pretty good time too, because, now we see that we're having, a potential reversal in the markets, right? If you look at the 4 hour, this level right here, it's kind of hard to draw a clear level just because there's so much noise, but like, just this general area right here, right? We didn't see the market break out of it, with clear conviction, which is what I was kind of hoping for this week. But we'll revisit, next week GBP USD. But this is just kind of my update, on what I did this Friday, right? And this is a pretty heavy impulse, 53 pips to the upside. So I won't give my opinion on it just yet, but that is what happened, and I did end up closing out of GBP USD. Euro AUD, the same thing. This one I got stopped out on, somewhere right here. We had a breakout of this resistance right here, came to this wick high that I was talked about on Sunday, retested it, pulled up higher, thought we were gonna get that continuation, but we didn't. But I ended up putting my stop loss at like 1.6600. So I got stopped out of that one. So, I lost a good amount of pips because I got stopped out like somewhere right over here. So, I ended up not capitalizing on about, a good 76 pips, right? But I still made some good money on it. So, you know, on to the next trade, most definitely. I almost FOMO'd out this morning, wanting to enter again, but I'm glad I actually did, but I'm glad I closed it out real quick and, stuck to the discipline, even though I was undisciplined for a moment, but we won't talk about that. That's Euro AUD. So I'm out of Euro AUD as well. That is all the trades that I was in. Honestly, I've been in these trades for a long time. I've just kind of been managing them. This week I didn't enter any new trades this week, was just managing my trades, but overall good week from a, technical analysis standpoint. It's really nice to see, market impulse correct and then impulse again and just not getting it right the first couple of times because I've showed my losses and I was down 5% at one point. So, I try not to hide that, but yes, I was a little early to the party, but really just still sticking with the market direction and not getting discouraged, from the losses. Um, I took a AUD USD sell this Friday. I'll kind of explain my reasoning behind that. Actually, I'll do that right now. So, from my video on Sunday, right? I talked about how AUD USD looked like it was primed to head, to this resistance level right here. Just because we broke out of this 4 hour resistance, we saw price fail here, fail again, and then, impulsively break in above, right? And from a wave theory analysis, right? So the old me would have been looking for this once resistance level to hold as support. And, we see that it did at one point because if you were to trade it right here, you would have been right again. And then, it would have came back on you, you would have been kind of right, but, ultimately it came back down. So from a wave theory analysis, right? If we call this the first impulse in the market, you know, something that I know about the wave theory is that price usually likes to retrace to that 50, 618 level. Can also hit that 786 level, but we have these zones that price usually like to bounce off of and potentially, continue, the way of the trend. So with the numbers that came out, real negative today for the dollar, I might close out this trade at the end of the day, but at least for today, Friday, I'm bearish on the dollar for the moment. So, that therefore I ended up going long on AUD USD. And, it matched up with that 618 level that, it peaked below just a little bit, but, we were bouncing off of that 618 level. We bounced off once, bounced off twice, and then, ultimately, a third time. And on the 1 hour, you know, kind of like a kind of like a triple bottom to the downside, right? So failed once, failed twice, and then failed three times. And then, we're kind of right at this once resistance level right here. So, would want to see, what happens, kind of closer to close, once it's around 2, 3 p.m., are we going to start wicking this level pretty heavy, or are we going to close, the week, pretty like, pretty impulsively to the upside? So I'll be watching to see if I'm going to close this, for the week, or if I'm going to hold over the weekend. Gold massively going to the upside. Missed out on that one for sure. Um, yeah, really no thoughts on that one right now. Looks like we're heading back, to these levels right here. And it's just hard to say, what gold is going to do just because we have so many paths, of resistance. We've had this mini 4 hour one. We had, this one right here that we broke out of very cleanly, and then we have another one right here. So I'll do my analysis on that one, on Sunday. But that is pretty much kind of just my Friday analysis. I want to show my FTMO account. Just kind of a quick update. So, just for, people who are following me on that journey, I just kind of want to show that I did get out of that, major drawdown that I was in. And I am also, back in profit as well. So I was down 5%, about $500. With all the trades that I took this week, I managed to get back to break even and even slightly above profit, slightly back above break even. So I'm up about 86 bucks, right? And looking to just continue that momentum. I got a little out of my head for the past 2 weeks, was just not mentally clear. And, I saw that within my trading, but it's nice to be back in profit and kind of have that clarity again. But whether up or down, still have to have that clarity. And that's just, why it's always good to give yourself some room to trade again and to not risk everything on one trade, right? Because can't be perfect, but you can give yourself a good risk to reward to, get it right on the next trade. So that is, pretty much everything for me. I'll make another video tomorrow, just kind of explaining my mindset on, some of the trades that I was in. My mindset while I'm in the trades, my mindset on exiting, and things of that nature. But it's Friday. The market's closed in a couple of hours. So that's pretty much it for me. I'll come back and I'll check in an hour or two how that AUD USD trade is doing. Is it wicking back to the downside, or is it continuing, or is it closing bullish without, too many wicks? So that'll be the ultimate decision to see if I hold for the weekend, over the weekend or not. But appreciate to anybody who was watching these videos. Appreciate to the homies who have subscribed to me as well. Appreciate to the ones who like, comment, and subscribe as well. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you guys as always. Thank God as well. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, God willing.